my phone.
Yep.
So we are going to get started. We stand for the flag salute. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll have a moment of silence. Aaron's going to do the roll call tonight.
Clifford Adams.
Here.
Patty Anderson. Here. Carrie Ormond.
Here.
John Burke.
Here.
Brady Fight.
Here.
Diane Page. Jeff Powell.
Here.
Eric Sunderling.
Here.
And Kelly T.
Thank you. I'm here. Erin didn't think she could say my name, so I told her to just go to Kelly T.
Told her to butcher it. So.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the official minutes, waive the reading, and approve those official minutes from July 14th?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move on to public participation, and Len's here to discuss something with us. Nice to see you this evening.
Sorry for my appearance, apologize. Finally stopped raining, so
Gotta do what
I'm
you
going as fast as I can go. Len Myers, I'm here on a couple of behalfs tonight, not really Len Myers, apparently, you know, I don't really have anything on that. One will be the AC Valley Youth Football and a proposal I'd like the board to hear. The other one would be like on behalf of Arlo's Ice Cream. My wife and my family bought that, and I wanted to share with Lori and Bill. We did the principals list thing last year. I forgot all about it, and they overwhelmed us on that first Friday. And then the other thing that happened was somebody that I've been talking to, and I think I can't remember who it was, but she said she was in the school and there's a child that is less fortunate than some of our kids. And she said, so, you know, how are you doing? It was in elementary. And the child was like, good. And she said, how's your grades? She said, I have ice cream if I get on the Christmas list. And that just broke my wife and my heart. I mean, that's what it's for. We're going to do it again. But I want to share that with you guys. I mean, that had a huge impact on somebody that needed an impact. So we're very happy with that. The other thing, we donated to AC Valley First. I don't know much about that program, but we did donate to them as well. And we'll continue to do that stuff. AC Valley Youth Football, I'm the president of that association. We're here practicing today. First, thank you all very much for having us here. I want to talk about a couple things. One, so we pay rent. We understand we need to pay rent for the facility just like any other program. However, we wanted to come to the board and propose something a little bit different. Sidetrack, junior high and varsity, and probably Dave Sherman could probably enlighten us more on this. I don't know much about it, but they have what they call a huddle camera. Dan Reed, Scott Kindle taught me a demo today, Brady, you were telling me about it. And basically it's an AI camera that's mounted. We lease it, and it plugs into a program for the coaches to go over plays and stuff. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know much about it, but they said, Dan Reed said it's an amazing thing AC Valley doesn't have. They're $3,000 a year to lease that camera. Current budget, we're paying them $11,300. One thing I will share with the board here at AC Valley is we split that cost. We don't do anything here at this school with it's all at you. I think the coaches do the LGI room. So, but my proposal from the youth program, I passed it by our board, is we will split the cost, the lease with this school for 1 year, on 2 years, every year. So we'll pay you $1,500 in rent, as long as it goes to put in a huddle camera that the AC Valley junior high and varsity can use here and start coming up to speed with the rest of the schools. It's a 2-year lease. Like I said, the contract, Scott Kindle and Hugh, the guy from there, told me I can get it. From the moment you say go, and once David updates us on the construction and stuff like that, that's one reason I don't really want to put it there, pay for a lease for a year if we start doing construction. So I got about a 10-day lead time. I think David got a hold of Aaron. He said the technology stuff we can support here.
The only concern we had was, is it far enough off of the field that it would cover the entire field from the press box?
Yes, so the other schools, yes, they're right on top of the press box of the other schools.
Okay.
I just see it as a win-win, and basically what it does is it records the plays without having a manual person do it, uploads it into a cloud, and again, I don't know much, but it uploads it into the cloud. The coaches can put in the formation, and it tags and shows the plays and allows the coaches to review game film with the athletes on their game film day in the LGI room. I do believe our LGI room here will support that. So I wanted to throw that out to the board because it is expense. We are formally requesting to pay our rent instead of paying whatever it is, $1,500 right up front and share the lease with the school so we can use it, and the AC Valley varsity and junior high teams can use it as well.
Can I ask a couple questions, Len? Just, so I know that they use, because I have a varsity player, I know they have the camera. Would this be is this a separate lease, or is it kind of an extension of what
So-
we already have with?
So and we asked that, and I think I sent you everything. If I didn't, I'm sorry. He said it would fold if we paid 2 contracts, because the contract's already signed, but it would fold right in. It would just be the
So
same
it's kind of
camera.
under one umbrella? Like-
Yes, it's the same thing. It would
It's
fold
not
in.
something totally separate?
No, oh yeah, same program, same access, same, the coaches can do the same stuff, I think, up here. I'd never heard of it, and that's why I'm pretty ignorant to it, but everybody I talk to says it's the way to go for the safety, but also for the game review and stuff like that.
Well, it is, I know that the boys, I mean, it's beneficial for the boys, and then the boys have access, they can go back and review play after play, even at home.
Wow,
Like, they have some kind of access, I'd have to ask my kid.
Yeah, players can make it.
Yeah, so they can go back in, if Ryan wants to see a particular play, to see what went wrong or whatever, he can go back on his phone.
I can see highlights and stuff, but plays that they have, and kids can do all kinds of stuff with the technology. It's kind of a neat format. They can send film out to the schools and different things.
Is
Yeah, I
this
just wondered
the-
if it was a totally
Is
separate.
this gonna broadcast the games, or is this just for in-house?
I don't think it's broadcast.
No, it's not.
Well, Huddle does broadcast. I mean, you can use Huddle to watch games. I mean, last night I watched the Carn City Mason Martin thing on it. They use theirs, but I'm assuming that's a larger cost.
Maybe it's a different lease. I don't know that. I'm not looking to extend our lease. That's something I'm excited about.
Okay.
I'm just, hey, I'd like to get a camera here for us.
Okay.
Mike, you had a comment?
I could add some context.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely does everything he says. You can stream live, they provide that service. The kids can break down the plays like you're saying, but they can also have their individual highlights and have those things for kind of a real tape, future reference. And we do installations for other school districts where we put the Huddle camera in. Plum School District, one specifically, utilizes it very well. They do it for the baseball field, the football field, volleyball. We're putting one this year in the swimming pool area, so it's worth the lease money, in my opinion. Again, though, it should advance what you're doing here at the school district as well, but everything you're saying, spot
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
on. Mike with Tri-State Video.
Okay, all right. Just, yeah.
So you're proposing not this year, since we're planning on redoing the football field, but next year, start that for a 2-year lease? Is that what you're proposing?
So I'm proposing this year. The way I see it, until somebody says we've got a construction date. I mean, and this is a side topic. I said to somebody, okay, you put it out for bid, it goes out for bid for 3 weeks, then you accepted the bid, and you hire a contractor. If that contractor's not busy, can start right away, I suggest you go to a different contractor. Because I know how backed up every other contractor is. But that's just my thought. So I'm forecasting, that's me, that we will play majority here. And I did ask if okay, so something happens, you go, hey, we're doing construction. It can be moved, but at the end of the day, that's where I stand.
So this cost, is this also Union's cost? Like, what are they, do you know what they're paying? This says ship to Union High School, and they're paying, it says year 2, year 3, each is $3,000, it says total $6,000. So this must be an extension from what they already have?
Yes, I think
So they're paying the same amount?
they're paying $11,300 is their contract this year. I don't know how many cameras they have, I guess I'll
Okay.
defer to I don't know.
I think
I
they
don't-
have contingencies also.
Okay.
Are we paying anything towards that, or is Union absorbing that whole cost?
I would say that would be split.
Yeah, when I look at the budget, it is split in the athletic budget. And that was, it's a side topic, that's not really why I'm here, but I was like, okay, we're paying that. We can't really use it here, but that's not what I'm here to say. Hey, if you'd like to bring this to the school, we're willing to share it with the junior high and varsity, give those kids the advantage that every other school has. We'll use it as a youth program, not so much the little guys, it's just getting them to run the right direction is the first part, main goal. But the other thing that, so, and I'll side topic on this, so we had the Hamilton Day Parade. Youth had one of my equipment drills. I reached out to varsity coach for cheerleading, varsity football. Had varsity kids, junior high kids, both football and cheerleading on with the little guys. I'm trying to bring youth and the varsity and junior high together so that it's seamless. When they transition from a youth senior, right now they go into a whole new scheme, new name calling as far as the plays, new holes, new trying to get us closer as a program so that we feed the junior high and varsity with kids that already know a little bit about junior high and varsity. So I'm just trying to mirror everything I can. So we'll look at it on senior levels, so that way when the seniors get to junior high, they're not like, what is this huddle? Oh yeah, we've seen this. So I'm trying to do everything in the program as the president here that I can to grow into junior high and varsity.
So are you looking for a vote tonight, Len, just because your season's starting?
Yes.
And so when are you looking to do the,
Um,
are you looking for something in August, or what are you looking for?
Just to go over the timeline, we're in week 2 of a 3-week advertisement bidding process for the football field. We will be opening up bids, awarding contracts, hopefully. And I do agree with Len, but I also think that since we have such a small project, that maybe a big company could move in, do the project, and move out in between projects. So I haven't completely written it off yet, so we're going to do what we can to get that project up and started. I don't have an exact time.
Yeah, so I would say our first game, home game, I don't know when it is. I need 10 days leave. I think it's mid-August. I know we play ahead of the junior high and varsity. We started early for some reason. I'm still learning my role over there. I would like to have, as soon as you can, but I don't know what that entails. Do you need to do an emergency? I don't have that.
Well, my thought process is, either we do it tonight or it's gonna be after the fact in August because of when the meeting dates fall, right? Like, so that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, that's a little over my head. I'm not 100% sure. I would like to have an answer, and then honestly, if you vote on it and you say yes, I can wait until you and I get together and say, okay, it's now August 15th. Look, it's going to happen in October, and then I can get back to the board and say, okay, we're going to scrap that this year, and we'll pay you whatever the rent fee is. But
Is this something that's gonna have to go through, like, some type of written agreement? Can it be a verbal agreement for them to pay that, or?
I generally have Attorney Shekel review all contracts that we have, but we could approve it pending solicitor review as well.
I was just curious if that.
We
had
take a vote tonight and
do
do
that.
it
Right.
pending.
Now, do we have money in the athletic budget?
Bill, did you budget anything for even filming, any student cost or anything? We might be able to.
We usually budget $1,000 for basketball,
Okay.
but it's for the huddle, but without the camera.
Okay.
But would we, how much of a cost, I guess, maybe I misunderstood, how much of a cost does the district absorb?
$1,500.
$1,500. Okay.
So if you tell me you can't find the money in your budget,
But if
I'll
we're
go
splitting
you.
that with Union, that's
We're
$750.
splitting it.
that's you guys. I'm not splitting it. I'm $1,500 upfront to you.
Right.
But if you're telling me you can't find the money in the budget, I'll pay the $3,000 right now for 2 years. I won't pay next year. I'll do whatever we got to do to make it happen. Just that I don't know how the vote thing and how that goes.
So we will split this cost with Union.
Yes.
So 750 the school percent.
Okay, that's a little
Yeah, I think we can do it.
easier to make, I think, to
I
make
think
happen.
that's easy to vote as well.
Yeah, I mean, the only comment I had is we're at 11,300, so say it's 10,000, we're at 5,000 in the budget already, and we split that 5,000 is what AC Valley pays for huddle,
Right,
and does nothing with it here.
right, and because we don't have any cameras here.
That's the only thing that caught me in my attention. I was like, wow, that kind of stinks.
So just so I understand this correctly, the $3,000 is split between Union and AC Valley, and then the $1,500 that AC Valley has to pay will be split between AC Valley and the youth program.
No.
No.
I'll give you 1,500 right now, and then you guys do what you want me
The
to do.
youth will cover
Youth
half,
both.
so that they'll cover 1,500.
Okay,
The other 1,500 will be
It's split
split
between
between
us and Union.
us and Union.
okay,
You had to split right, just the wrong people.
okay.
Wrong percentage.
And Union's okay with that. We're adding that to their costs. I mean,
I
we
mean,
have
they
to have
run
them.
their own system over there, so I can imagine they support it.
Well, and that may be a cost that the boosters pick up. We pick up some of that stuff as boosters, and that might be some of the costs that the boosters pick up. So,
Yeah, I mean, Scott and Dan Reed were both very excited about it. But
Okay.
again, whatever you guys got to do is
We
more. I
get,
don't know.
like, written from Union that they're willing to split that cost and pay it in agreement to it before,
Just at the end of the year, we take that budget and split it between the two schools. So primarily everything that goes into the athletic joint co-op, that overall cost is split.
it doesn't get pre-approval on the split. It just gets put into the bucket and then split after the fact.
Yeah, kind of after we present our budgets to the school board approves them, and then at the end internally, the business managers split up all the costs.
Okay.
any questions?
Any other questions? I
Okay.
think we're good.
I'm gonna excuse myself, I'm gonna head back up to the little guys. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, call me, whatever you do.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't see any other public participation, but we do have a presentation from Centigix. Did I say that right?
Centegix.
Centigix, okay.
We have Mike Gals here and John Vetter zooming in on the Zoom account.
Are we having a?
Yeah, we'll have a presentation here. Just keep in mind, this is a safety program that I did go to a presentation, and it's something that we could consider pending the ongoing safety grant in the state budget.
Yeah.
There you go, John.
Dr. Kevin, thank you so much for the introduction. Mike, did you want to do a quick intro for yourself? You already went through that already, my friend.
Briefly, I just handed out some information, but I'm Mike Giles with Tri-State Video Services. I'm a local area certified partner with Centegix. We're just basically 25 minutes south of Butler, PA. Essentially, we here represent Centegix in the district and the Western Pennsylvania area.
Yeah, thank you for that, Mike. And you know, we guess Dr. McDevitt, myself, and Mike, we met probably, it was a while back. And we did a kind of an internal symposium back near Pittsburgh, and then had some subsequent conversations. And then recently, Dr. McDevitt said, you know, maybe there's an opportunity for us to get to this spot where we can maybe just present this from a perspective of, you know, consideration and of course information, right? So I'll go through this. I'll take some pauses. Mike is there to obviously answer some questions if Mike, and of course I can myself. But just for a quick test, if you guys can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Perfect. So if we know nothing about safety and security from overarching, right? You have cameras, locked doors, you have gun detection, you have bulletproof film goes over glass, right? You have walkie-talkies, you have stationary panic buttons, right? So the ability for a campus to give everybody, and if Mike has them there, the badges, we can give a badge to
Not
every
today.
single teacher, staff, aide, para, leadership individual, of course, maintenance folks, whatever it might be, right? It's a simple to use wearable badge. So it is another layer of security that allows teachers and staff the ability to be anywhere on campus, whether it be in a building or outside on a ball field or playground or a parking lot, to summon some sort of help to them and get exact location to where they are. So essentially, think of it as again, you know, I know we watch those commercials, you know, you push the button and, you know, I fall and I can't get up. It's a very similar, you know, notion of myself being a teacher in a building, needing resources, and we'll kind of go through that in a couple of slides, right? This gives you a little bit of the ability to see what we've done in and around, you know, Pittsburgh, Central PA, and Eastern PA. We have 14 districts. Of these 14, 11 have come on board in the last 8 to 10 months, which has been fantastic. You know, a lot of this came from, you know, last year in September of 24. There was that school shooting in Appalachia High School in Barrow County in Georgia, and we were the technology in that building, right? So the ability for those teachers in that segment of the hallway to summon help, not only to the building to let them know that there's something going on, of course, but to summon help outside, to the connective piece of EMT, you know, the fire, the police, all those kinds of things. So we'll kind of go through that in a little bit. So a lot of these came from that groundswell from what happened last September. So the platform in and of itself is really trying to do three things, right? You know, once I identify an emergency, I want to notify staff. I want to let people know, and maybe students know if there's something going on in the building that should be, or responders to that specific building. I notify that staff to get resources to me, and of course, respond to that emergency. So the ability for me to be as fast as possible to get resources to me is one of the biggest things that the badge brings to the value of the school district. So to give you some overarching pieces, we'll kind of go through that little piece there, right? It's one-button activation. It literally is everything on your campus, whether it be ball fields or your hard buildings, total campus coverage. location pieces, and we'll go through that in a little bit, and of course, the audio-visual notifications, which is big with regard to protocols, right? The ability for me to notify, others in the building somewhere else where something's happening is something that's critical to the components of this solution. So one of the biggest things people will lean on, the protocols for active shooter or some sort of an intruder on campus, right? But a lot of what we've been successful with in the last year, over 255,000 times, districts across the country utilize our services in the sense that they utilize the badge for sudden cardiac arrest incidents, of course, regular 911 calls being placed with regard to maybe an injury or a fight or something happening on that campus. And again, the 14% lives, it kind of resonates with someone, myself, who, again, an older gentleman that years ago I could never imagine ever having any kind of interaction with a teacher other than, hey, here's a grade, here's a test date, whatever. But the negative responses that go on between teacher and students sometimes can be very, very disheartening. We have one district on that slide, California Area School District. I was on their board meeting similar to this. It wasn't a board meeting to approve it, but to go through things. And one of the biggest markers for them, there was a fist fight in a classroom, and essentially two boys, high school boys, were having an altercation. That teacher went over to go to the wall phone to call for help and summon help from the main office, and two additional students physically stopped that teacher from going to the wall phone. So, if they would have had a badge on them or something that could discreetly call for help and get someone to them with, assets and resources to them to stop that fight, needless to say, now we have 4 kids who are going to be suspended, maybe expelled, and of course, some injuries and stress on other students. So the ability, again, to get help to folks is really what we're focused on. So there's 2 types of alerts with the badge. One is a staff alert, which essentially is needing help. We'll go through that in detail, right? It's help of, there's a fight, elopement, angry parent, could be a peanut allergy, it could be something happening in the cafeteria, someone's choking, whatever it might be. That's an in-house alert. And we also have the lockdown campus alert, which we'll go through in a little bit more detail. So here's what the 3-click looks like, right? 3 clicks, if anybody had the badge and they clicked it, right? Once you click it 3 times, it'll vibrate haptically in your hand. That lets the person know that they're in need of some sort of help or resources to get to them, right? So any of these situations happen on a multitude of campuses across the country, and it happened, way back when I was in school, back in the 80s, right? Medical emergency, physical altercation, like I just kind of pinpointed that story. Irate parent at the front door, a student, my wife's a special ed teacher, so is my daughter, and in their IEPs, they'll be kind of given the indication that they might have a runner or two on their class roster to be kind of aware of that. So the ability to keep your folks, on what's happening in front of you is really critical to what this solution does. So let's just pretend that Jeremy Atkins is a teacher at the district, right? He's in the auditorium. He calls and summons for help because he needs resources, right? We know that ultimately, in a stressful situation, the ability to grab your phone is probably your first cause of action. But we know that cell phone signals, cell towers, having the device on you, being able to navigate to that app can be somewhat stressful in the moment of being stressed. In this case, he hits the badge literally 3 times, it vibrates. The responders, right? Dr. McDevitt and the staff would then assign responders to the various buildings. They would get this alert on either their desktop, on their iPad, or on their phone, letting them know that Jeremy is in the auditorium and he's in need of some sort of assistance. At this point, they would make their way to that auditorium to again, deliver aid and resources to what's going on here. Additionally, you can see those blue and red and green assets there. This district, in some way, shape, or form, it's a demo, of course, but they mapped their assets. They have the AED kits, they have Stop the Bleed, they have fire extinguishers, access doors. You can map up to 24 different assets. So as a responder, as I make my way to Jeremy, I can look on my device and know that if I get there and there's a cardiac event or a stroke, something happening, and I want to get to the AED or the nearest piece, whatever it might be, I would be able to know where that is based upon the mapping. I'll take a pause there. Questions about a staff alert from a perspective of, anywhere on the campus, whether it be first floor, second floor, out on the football field, whatever it might be. What questions do you have with regard to, the staff alert?
John, the question I have is, we have very limited cell phone service out here. Can you explain to our school board members the process that you have set up to eliminate any concern with cell phone and how your Bluetooth tied into that?
Yeah, I think you were talking about, it was tough to hear you, but ultimately, you want to know, how do we get to the spot of knowing where Jeremy is with that technology? That's in a couple of slides. If you can just be 2-minute patient, I'll get to that. Is that okay?
Hey, John, can you hear me a little bit better on the microphone?
Yeah, that's better, yeah.
So this question is pertaining to the connectivity, or more or less the gateway, the LoRaWAN network that is created, and that's how the cellular phone or applications are run outside of issues here that they have with dead areas for cell coverage and other communication areas, just in general, because we're in a rural area. So we wanted to go over just the details on how that connects, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah, well, I'll skip ahead a little bit and come back to this. I know that we're in that spot, but I'll kind of go through that here. So can you guys see the page where it says powering the network?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the power of the network. So that gateway, that gray dinner plate size device right there gets mounted. 2 of them get mounted on the sides of your buildings, essentially. That's the only device that will then create what we call a LoRaWAN network on your campus. So doesn't matter if you have Wi-Fi or cell, that device right there creates that, and it connects to these items. Those strobes and those beacons. The second item is a strobe, and the fourth item is a locating beacon. The strobes, in another slide I'll show you, are located in every classroom, bathroom, office. Multiple ones are put in bigger areas like gymnasiums, auditoriums, cafeterias, and libraries, right? That strobe acts really in 2 pieces. It acts as a locator. Once I hit the bags 3 times, it locates me where I am. And number 2, if I have to go into a lockdown protocol, it will illuminate a certain color. So let's just, for purposes of a lockdown, let's say it's going to be red. That will then start to illuminate red. So everywhere in that building, if something happened in a building somewhere on the campus, ultimately those strobes, as far as a lockdown, we skipped over that and we'll go back, those strobes will go off. So I have a visual alert there, right? Those locating beacons go outside. Your football, baseball, tennis courts, playgrounds, common areas, track, parking lot. So if I'm outside and essentially I'm going to my car and maybe there's a couple of kids out there and they're giving me the business about a pop quiz or an exam, or there's kind of an argument there, whatever it might be, I feel like I need resources, hit the badge 3 times, and the responders get to me. So the locating beacons and the strobes act in concert in the sense that it's a locator. The strobes, because we're inside, would then illuminate based upon that being lights, if there was some sort of a lockdown or another kind of protocol there, right, that type of thing. So again, those strobes, those beacons, and those badges are all wireless and then multi-year battery life, right? So we monitor the system, hardware and software as a service. So again, the only item that gets hardwired, and Mike is in front of you there, he's working on a district in Western Europe right now where he's installing the gateways and they're getting ready to kick off the implementation call. So that's the only items that get hardwired. Everything else is wireless on that campus. But again, the importance of this to connect to this. So when I'm a teacher on a campus, no matter where I am, I get picked up by the nearest locating beacon, or I get picked up by the nearest strobe. It communicates back to that device through the Bluetooth low energy, back to that LoRaWAN network that lets that responder know where I am. Now, before I kind of jump back a couple of slides on the important lockdown protocol, questions about the technology itself?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Just so I'm understanding correctly, if someone, let's say Dr. McDivitt is in the auditorium, we have an active shooter or somebody with a gun, and he hits that 3 times, the responders would know that he's in trouble, but would not necessarily know what the incident is, or
Well,
can you explain that a little further?
That's a good question. So it's kind of bifurcated, right? So we kind of skipped over this section. to get to the technology, which is fine,
Oh,
right? So we
okay.
want to get to the spot of a campus-wide lockdown. So a little bit different. The three press, right, the three press is a staff alert. We're not notifying the police or fire, we're not having the strobes go off, right? We don't need that. Ultimately, in a lockdown situation, we train the staff, essentially we train the staff to just keep pressing. Once into the technology reaches the 8th click, the number 8, the 8th click, and in this case, in the top left quadrant, you'll see initials BT and WF, right? In this case, these two folks, these two teachers, either they saw a gun, they heard something, it needed protocol to say, let's keep everybody safe and lock it down. At that point, once they keep pressing, those strobes will start to illuminate. It will essentially communicate or integrate with your intercom system, so giving you some sort of an audio at that point. Also in your classrooms, it will do a screen takeover. So that lockdown message in the bottom right quadrant will let you know. So if I'm a teacher on the second floor, back end of the building, something's happening to the front, I may not be able to hear it. In most cases, I won't be able to hear it or obviously see it. So once that teacher, let's use Dr. McDevitt, hits that 8 times, I know I'm in my classroom, I know there's no drill happening today. This is real world. I see the lockdown protocol come up on my screen. I see also the badge, the strobe going off. I know now to follow that protocol. Doesn't make a difference what that is. I love you guys, Alice, run, hide, fight, whatever you have, you're in that spot of now keeping your kids and the staff folks safe in that classroom. Additionally speaking, right, in that bottom left spot there, the ability for this technology to connect to local police. Now, I know, Dr. McDevitt, you had said that the closest is what, 10 or 15 minutes away? Is that being kind of aggressive, or is it longer?
30 minutes.
How long?
30 minutes.
30 minutes, John.
30 minutes. So again, we can't speed that up of being the response time. What we can do is alert those folks as fast as possible that there is some sort of an emergency at the high school, middle school, district office, elementary school, whatever it might be, to get them there. Now, we also can connect to multiple agencies. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't have to be 1 or 2. It could be 3. One at the state, municipality, a sheriff's office, localities, whatever it might be. So the multitude of our ability to communicate with as many as you need to make that happen certainly is part of the technology as well with regard to our integrations. So again, in summary, for the purposes of staff and lockdown, staff alert is 3 clicks. I need help, right? I need an angry parent, I have a fist fight, I have a choking child, I have one of my cohorts, my co-teacher is having a tough time breathing. I want to get resources to that person. I hit it 3 times, we get the location. Flip side of that now, I'm on campus, something's happening that's not a staff alert, there's danger imminent to the folks there. Ultimately, that is we just keep clicking. It takes about 1.8 seconds, I've done the timing of it, to initiate a lockdown. So at that point, right, those teachers, that staff, the faculty, follows that protocol for a safe lockdown in the building. Again, with all these pieces, going to the police, the visual, and of course the strobes going off themselves. So again, giving you kind of a visual, right? Identify, notify, respond. Identify an emergency. I'm notifying folks through strobes, through intercom, and through obviously the lockdown with the screen takeover, and of course, police and fire are being alerted. Now, important to note that the police and the fire can have this technology on their side as well. So the ability for them to have the maps, the same maps that you see on that digitized phone right there, are the same maps that you provide to your responders on your campus, we can provide to those police officers. Down in Georgia, that's what they did at Appalachian High School. That 911 center was okay with having this on their side, and cost them no extra money, to have that technology in their squad cars, and some of the police officers had it on their phones, so they knew exactly where to go once they arrived on campus. I'll take another pause with regard to the 3-click or the 8-click technology and the technology itself before I kind of wrap it up for you guys. Any other additional questions?
What is the warranty on the technology? I know you said there's a good battery life in it, but what's the warranty on that? What's the cost to replace that when it goes?
So John, the question was warranty on the battery life or just in general the hardware itself. To answer that question, the warranty is full
Yeah,
coverage.
great question. So every device you see here, the bags, the strobe, the beacon, and the gateway is ours to monitor. So it's a fully monitored hardware, software as a service. So we always know when battery life is waning on a badge, probably gonna be, between a couple of weeks to a month. We'll notify, again, I know Dr. McDevitt, right? We'll notify Dr. McDevitt that he's got some badges that are getting a little low, based upon a certain parameter, and we'll send out new batteries at no cost to you. Same thing with the strobes and the beacons, right? The strobes and the beacons also have a multi-year battery life. We monitor those. So let's just say, for argument's sake, there's 25 beacons and 30 strobes that for a couple years need to be replaced. We can, of course, utilize someone, as a partner, like Giles, to go out there and replace those at no cost to you based upon the fact that it's part of the service fee. So essentially, we monitor everything for you from the perspective of these devices on the campus. Same thing with the gateway, right? The gateway also has an internal switch. Let's just say power and internet goes out to that building. It'll switch right away to a battery backup, an 8 to 10 hour battery backup, and of course, it'll switch to a cell tower at that point, just to give you redundancy to get the kids and the staff off the campus. But essentially, if that doesn't happen, you always have that power being there through the gateway, and everything else is wireless connected to that network.
So zero cost.
This is a great look at what we've done with this. This is a high school in and around St. Louis, Ladue High School. You can see those green dots in that building there are all the strobes. Those red arrows are pointing to locating beacons outside. So anywhere you see an arrow, it's outside coverage. Anywhere you see a beacon, a strobe with those green is inside, and that's 1 floor. I do know that this is a 2, in some spots, 3-story building. There's over, I think, 600 strobes in the building with regard to just notifying folks of an emergency and locating you. So if I'm a teacher and I'm in the auditorium, or I'm a teacher assigned to that badge, and I'm in at the bottom half of that screen, if something's going on, I can hit my badge. That's full coverage with that campus. Just to keep that in mind, it's a very big thing that we take very near and dear to us, making sure that there's full coverage on that campus.
Will this reach between both buildings?
Protocols are big. Dr. McDevitt gets a phone call from maybe something's happening locally with something, and he has to put the campus in some sort of a hold, or maybe it has to be an evacuation or a shelter in place, whatever. Those same strobes that we've placed in the building will illuminate a certain color based upon Dr. McDevitt's taking out his administrative app and saying, you know what, I'm going to put a secure in place. We have maybe a tornado rolling through, and I get a weather alert, or maybe there's some law enforcement alert, something happening locally that's not a lockdown. The same can be done here with a screen takeover, of course, the illumination of those pieces as well. So to give you guys the ability to drill off of this as well, very, very key in all this.
And John, real quick, I had a question as related to the coverage between the 2 schools. So just the coverage area for the Lower WAN network, that will extend anywhere from up to 2 to 3 miles in range. Each of the schools here would each have 2 gateways on them. So if there was a lockdown here happening, it's not going to immediately lock down that other school, but Dr. McDevitt or anybody else that has the admin rights to then send that information along and let them know what's going on, can trigger that same response there. And again, it'll cover the range between 2 to 3 miles circumference around this space alone.
And Mike, we have a track out back, the football field, the
Yep.
playground. We have 50 acres here on campus.
Right.
And as you said, that would cover the entire.
Yeah, it'll cover the campus area totally. And again, those spaces out there would get a beacon, more or less, not so much the strobe. The strobe would be internal to the school, but that beacon would be out there in those spaces.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Well, just before I wrap up, it's got a visitor management piece in it too, so again, not sure. Dr. McDevitt, if you guys have a technology currently, if you do, you can leave it in place. If you don't, it comes with visitor management. There's no additional cost, so again, it's part of the system. And I come in as whether I'm a student, I come in late, overslept, doctor's appointment, whatever. I got to check in. From a visitor coming in to see my my kid's teacher, I can check in, get a printable badge, and then of course check out. So again, it comes with the blueprint, the crisis, and of course the visitor badge. So that's it. Any additional questions from the group? They've been great ones so far.
Looks like we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
John, thank you.
All right, moving on. Do we have any board concerns this evening? Okay, not hearing any, we'll go to the consent agenda. Is there anything you would like to be pulled separately from the consent agenda in our vote? Anything you want pulled to be voted on separately? Not seeing any, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right. We are going to move to finance and purchase, which is on page 3. Patty, would you walk us through that, please?
First one is a discussion related to paying bills for July 2025.
We don't have to,
You can lump A through H.
Yeah, lump
if
those
you
all
like.
together.
Stacy does not have a report this
Do
evening.
we have a report from First or any of them? Nothing, right? Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Okay. Motion to approve A through H under the finance and purchase report. Second.
moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Number I, consideration to approve the current CD held by PSDA DLAF, which will mature on July 21st. The FDIC CD funds will be held in the max liquid account at a daily fluctuating rate of 4.17. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Aaron, do you want to add anything to that? We talked about it last week.
No, by switching it right now, it's a difference of 6 cents per day, which actually is over the month is $1.80. It will fluctuate daily, but that's because it's not going liquid. It is higher than the local rates around here for general fund or liquid. So, with the budget not being passed the state budget, that's my recommendation.
And we can always revisit putting it in our
Correct.
CD once we have our budget confirmed. Okay, any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve giving authority to Aaron Morrison, business manager, and David McDevitt, superintendent, to sign and execute an electric contract and natural gas contract on behalf of the school board. The contracts will be sent to our solicitor for review before signing. And once the contracts are signed, details of each contract will be presented at the following board meeting. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? It just allows them to jump on things when time is of the essence. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to retroactively approve the advertising for the RFP for the football field and ADA parking set for advertisement on July 14th, 2025. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, before we move into personnel, we're going to take a brief break for an executive session to discuss some personnel issues, and we'll continue on.
this together.
All right, you want to note we returned from the executive session at 7:01, and we're going to move on to personnel. Carrie, would you cover us with that?
Absolutely. Letter A, consideration to approve the request from employee number 472 for paid maternity leave using all emergency sick and personal days. Once all emergency sick and personal days are exhausted, requesting to use family medical leave. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter B, consideration to approve advertising for a long-term substitute school nurse. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? This will be to fill in a position for maternity leave coming down the pipe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter C, consideration to approve accepting the letter of resignation from Timothy Bach, West 2 social studies teacher, effective June 27, 2025. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
D, consideration to approve advertising for a 7 through 12 social studies teacher at West 2. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
E, consideration to approve hiring Dylan Neal for the vacated position of 7 through 12 grade special education teacher at West 2 at a master step 1 with future salary increases to be negotiated with the AC Valley Education Association. This position is approved as 183 days, Monday through Thursday, for a school year, August 1st through June 30th. This position is hired contingent upon the need and operation of West 2. This position shall further be contingent on the individual's executing a consent and acknowledgement to a future decrease in salary in the event the individual's employment changes to a position with lesser pay. All of the terms of the agreement between AC Valley School District and AC Valley Education Association effective July 1, 2023 shall apply to the position. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
F, consideration to approve hiring Brent Davidsizer as a school police officer at a current contracted hourly rate of $21.67 at the beginning of the 2025-26 school year. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter G, consideration to approve the superintendent secretary accounts payable job description as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter H, consideration to approve hiring Lindsay Clausen as the superintendent secretary accounts payable as at a salary of $34,145.31 at the beginning of the 2025-26 school year. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Motion carries. Do we have a form, Aaron, or do we need to get, you probably don't have those forms with me.
Just copy and paste from the last one.
Okay.
Letter I, consideration to approve Valerie Snyder as the junior high volleyball head coach at a supplemental salary of $1,087. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
J, consideration to approve advertising in-house for a certified school nurse for the 2025-26 school year. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter K, consideration to approve hiring Sarah Black as the musical director at a supplemental salary of $1,384. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter L, consideration to approve advertising for a full-time 1-to-1 aide at the beginning of the 2025-26 school year. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter M, consideration to approve hiring Logan Pistorius as the varsity baseball coach at a supplemental salary of $2,440. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter N, consideration to approve accepting the letter of resignation from Juanita Stiglitz, junior high assistant volleyball coach, dated July 7, 2025. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter O, consideration to approve advertising for a junior high volleyball assistant coach. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter P, consideration to approve hiring Heather John upon receipt of all appropriate documentation as a part-time child-specific aide under the current contract at an hourly rate of $13.66. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the school police officer one-year contract. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
R, consideration to approve the meet and discuss one-year contract. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter S, consideration to approve the food service director one-year contract. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
T, consideration to approve accepting the letter of resignation from Erica Smith, West 2 vocational teacher, effective July 30th, 2025. So moved.
Second one.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter U, consideration to approve advertising for a 7 through 12 vocational teacher at West 2. So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
V, consideration to approve the district secretary full-time 220 days job description. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
W, consideration to approve appointing Courtney Chalmers as the focus point of contact at a yearly stipend of $1,000 beginning with the 2025-26 school year. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, I got just a point about that. Courtney's currently doing that role. She's a point of contact for Focus. We thought it would be too much for the new person replacing her to take that, so Courtney volunteered to continue to be the point of contact, and that's our current stipend that we pay her.
Will then that be wrapped into the job description for that new position we hire for the next year?
I'd have to look at the job description. I'm not sure if we have that or not.
Okay.
Because we just modified that, I'm just not sure if we moved that over or not, but that's just an additional wage increase and responsibility associated with it.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter X, consideration to approve the letter of resignation from William Strasser, girls varsity golf coach, dated July 15th, 2025. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Y, consideration to approve advertising for a girls varsity golf coach. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? And Z, we are tabling. We do not have a candidate at this point. So I'll save you reading on that, Carrie.
Yep.
Okay, we're moving on to instructional services. Cliff, would you like to lead that?
Sure. Elementary report, please.
So the elementary report tonight is just around the staff handbook and student handbook updates, starting with the staff handbook. And were these emailed out to you?
They should be on the Google Drive program.
Okay. So if you looked at those, or if you look at them later, I did indicate in red what was different this year from last year. So you'll be able to see on that. But just highlighting where the differences were. For the staff day, I did add a piece on the first page about the new remote learning days, if we go beyond the built-in snow days on the calendar. So just to include that in there, that there would be up to an additional 3 days. And then we'll get to Appendix C, but in Appendix C of the handbook, it outlines what their responsibilities are on those remote learning days. Under supervision of students, we added some specific language about recess supervision, just because in reviewing our discipline, we have a high incidence of discipline on the playground, so we wanted to make sure that we talked about recess being closely supervised and coordinating to visually cover the entire playground while out of recess. On page 5, when Mrs. Thurber and I were looking at the handbook, it was lengthy because of the specific where do you go when the fire drill goes off. And we decided to take all of that out of the handbook, and we're making posters for the room. They already had posters in the room. We're changing some of the fire drill policies, but But rather than spelling it out in here, we just said that they'll refer to the maps that are gonna be provided in the school crisis response crisis guide, those pink flip charts that we have in the event of any crisis, because they're obviously not gonna jump online and look for their handbook in a crisis. So it's better to have those visuals on the wall than to spell out in here every place everybody goes. So we just kind of condensed that into a statement that they should refer to their classroom maps. Under the lockdown drills, I just added the piece about our new emergency lighting system and what each color of lighting means in those situations. Under homework, we included a new statement about having parents stop with a student who is struggling if they've gone. We have suggested time minutes for each grade level if they're working on homework. And we do get a lot of parents, that will say they were working for hours on homework trying to help their student, and everybody was frustrated. And we really don't want that. If they're struggling that hard, then that needs to be a conversation with the teacher that, we have this issue. So we put that into the teachers, and that'll be in the student handbook as well, that we want the teachers to encourage parents to stop with a student who has gone beyond the suggested time minutes for their grade level, and let that teacher know so that the issue can be dealt with at school by the teacher if there's a concept problem. On page 11, we changed our SSTs, which was our student support team, language to MTSS, which is what we have moved towards with all of our instruction and discipline. So that's the multi-tiered systems of supports that we do, and talks about what each of the different tiers is. So that just replaces our SST language. On page 13, under parent communication, we are going to choose one electronic communication platform to use building-wide this coming year. Pretty much we had two that teachers used, Class Dojo and Remind. And so Kristen and I put out a survey. We're getting the results back from that. It looks like most of the teachers are leaning towards Class Dojo as the platform that they prefer. We just decided that if we use one platform building-wide, that would be easier for parents with kids in different grades. And then we can have like a sort of a building piece to that where we can put any kinds of announcements for the building that would apply to all students through that. So it would just be a more efficient way of communicating things home. And then lastly is that Appendix C for the remote learning days. At the elementary, we have decided to use a packet system. It's very hard to do a synchronous system with kids in grades K through 6 because they are not able to independently get online and work with teachers throughout the day. So the teachers will create packets, 3 packets that we'll send home right at the beginning of the year, and with specific directions, obviously, for parents on what those packets are and how they will be used. And then the staff expectations are outlined in this appendix. We will use those days. They will have office hours in the morning and in the afternoon for families if anybody needs help with the packets. The packets themselves will be general in nature, like review items that are grade level appropriate in each of the core content areas as well as specials areas. And then throughout the day, we will have meetings with the different grade levels. We can use it also to have some of our data meetings and things like that remotely. So we'll be occupying the teachers sort of as a professional development day, other than when they have the office hours with their families. Melanie also added a special education piece to that, what the expectations of the special education teachers would be, and put an exemplar of an IEP remote learning plan that teachers can link to within that to make sure that we're covering our bases there. I think that's everything in the staff handbook. Any questions about any of that? All right, and in the student handbook, obviously in the beginning, under the welcome part, I just introduced the idea that, or not the idea, the fact that we have 2 new teachers, Miss Sydney Wise in 4th grade and Mrs. Emma Fox in life skills autism support, and that Mrs. Thurber will now be our assistant principal at the elementary school, so the families know her new title. On page 4, I added the piece about remote learning days, so families would be aware that we will be using those this year if necessary, and that within the first 2 weeks of school, they will receive their take-home packets with the instructions and communication from their teachers. Under report cards, I changed the part about progress reports, since we're not going to send home the paper progress report anymore, so that parents understand that they will get an automated call at the midpoint suggesting that it's a good time to look at their child's academic progress on the parent portal and to reach out to teachers if they have any questions or concerns. Also indicated that in kindergarten, students receive a standards-based report card. That was not in there before, and we decided that because we have the grades with the percentages, we added that they receive a standards-based report card which indicates their progress toward mastering expected skills for kindergarten instead of percentages. And eventually we're going to move that up to first and second grade. We had hoped to do first grade this year, but we're just not quite there yet. Also, we're just going to designate honor roll and principals list in grades 5 and 6. Those are the names that we publish in the newspapers. And as we're moving towards the standards-based, it's not going to be something that we can designate in K1 and 2 once we hit that. And really in 3, 4, those percentages don't mean as much as they do as they start getting up into 5 and 6 as far as honor roll and principals list. In the younger grades, it's very rare that a teacher is going to let a student get a D. Like they're going to say, no, you're not mastering that, so we're going to keep reteaching it and get you where you need to be. So it's a different kind of designation when you're in those younger grades. Hopefully, they can still get some ice cream if they have A's and B's. So. Then, as I talked about the homework in the teacher's packet, we put that same message in under homework on page 5 on the student handbook. Just that they may be assigned homework, but they should not struggle with it beyond the suggested times. On page 6, under PSSAs, we indicated that this year we will be going to an online format rather than paper and pencil, and we will be using FastBridge as our data-driven instruction and early indication of student academic needs program that replaces Acadians and iReady. And under behavior and discipline, we are moving towards a responsive classroom curriculum for the 25-26 school year, hoping to fully implement that by 26-27. So we indicated that under discipline. Page 13 has basically the same change that the staff handbook had from student support team to MTSS, just indicating how we use the multi-tiered systems of support to support students through behavior and academic needs. And the last change was on page 17. That was under the internet policies, and that was the language about the Google Workspace for Education that Erin had shared out that we needed to include in our handbook. So that's just copy and pasted from what Erin had sent out before. That is all the changes in my handbooks.
Thank you, Carly. Consideration to approve the 25-26 elementary staff handbook as well as the 25-26 elementary handbook. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Those motions are approved.
Okay, secondary report, please.
Okay. Everybody hear me okay? Before I dive into the handbooks, I do want to mention, maybe this is something that can go down to the athletic report. Since we hired Logan Pistorius to be the varsity head coach, he is actually an assistant right now, so it would be nice if we could advertise to replace that assistant baseball coach for varsity.
I'll add that under new business.
New business.
So we can add that motion.
One other thing, and I apologize for not noticing it when the agenda came out last week, but we don't have consideration to approve the cyber handbooks for either the elementary or the high school on this list.
Okay. We can add that as well too. You're going to review those
The
tonight?
cyber services handbook?
Correct, the cyber services. There were no changes at the high school, I'm not sure.
No.
No changes at the elementary as well.
Just dates.
Updates
And
on,
I'm pretty sure I submitted it with my other handbooks to Sarah, so you probably have them in your board and stuff.
We just make that motion then for both buildings, for elementary and.
They're two different handbooks.
So we'll add those under new business. We can approve both of those.
What's the one under district report C? That's the cyber services handbook?
Under C is the athletic camp.
No, under district report.
Page
Oh,
six.
district report.
Flip it over there, it's
Yeah.
under C.
Yeah, it's on,
It is.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I
Does
apologize.
it
I
need,
didn't see.
does it need to specify elementary and school, or does it matter?
Okay, it's under
It's
district.
plural, is an S.
cyber
Services.
services.
Learned that in English class.
There should say
And
handbooks.
books.
Services.
There should say handbooks.
Okay, we're gonna amend that to S.
Should have better English.
Okay, since we did have a lot of changes last year, we don't have a ton of changes this year, so that's the good news. As far as the teacher handbook, I did not put an addendum in yet for the flexible instructional learning. For when we have those, I will present that next month. I have that ready, I just didn't have it ready for tonight. And it will be a separate document that I will present to my teachers on the first in-service day. So with the student handbook, I'm going to start from the back side and work to the hot ticket item, which is, the discussion related to those cell phones. So on page 20, I just added a sentence that states, any extreme health concerns must be documented through your personal health provider with an excuse. We did have a number of issues last year, actually the last couple of years, where students had presented with specific health concerns, but the parents were not getting excuses for those. And just so you know, I mean, every parent has 10 parent excuses that they can provide. Once they run out of the 10 parent excuses, everything has to be documented with a doctor. That has led to a number of conflicts because there are some parents, my student has this health issue, that's why they were absent, but they're not going to the doctor to get those excuses. So, we cannot honor those excuses as legal excuses if they're not from a doctor. And if it's an extreme health concern, I think that any parent would want to, have their child at a doctor. And I know it's an inconvenience, but it's something that the state requires us to have that. So that's why we add that. Under weighted grades, I also added a sentence there that weights will not be reflected on report cards until a final grade is given. Just to give you an update on why that is so, it has 100% to do with the focus system that we use. And we fought all year long trying to get that formula corrected in our focus system, where teachers would report the grade that the student got whenever they submit grades, and that focus program would then add the weight for each quarter, and then do the average at the end of the year, and focus just cannot do it. The program, for some reason, we haven't identified why, but they cannot fix that problem. So, students will get grades. They can always come to me or Mrs. Lowe and ask what the weighted grade is, but it won't be reflected on that report card till the very end. When they take those grades, then they average it and they add the weight onto it.
Will that impact principal's list and honor roll?
We have to look at every single one of those students when that happens. That's correct. And we've never had that problem with MMS. I don't know why, when we switched to Focus, they just can't fix that problem.
Is that a service or a feature within Focus that they told you they had and then it just didn't come to fruition?
I'm not a technical, I
get
can't
it.
understand the
Yeah.
technicality behind it. To me, it's just a computation. You would think that it would, go, but it does not compute.
What are you doing about transcripts?
Transcripts will have the weighted grade on.
So it will calculate
Yes,
the weighted grade for transcripts?
Well, we do those by hand. So the grades are put in there and they're checked every time a transcript is issued, and it has the weighted grades on it.
So you can't just print a transcript from
Correct.
Focus?
Correct.
So I hate to ask
this as an obvious question, but I just want to make sure the stone's not unturned. Did somebody reach out to their tech support and say this is not calculating, and you have said it would and it's not?
We had 4 meetings last year over this issue, just this issue, and we can't get it resolved.
Is there other options?
There are other student interface systems, yeah. But you're talking a big, that's not gonna happen this year, that's a big
No,
project.
I agree, but I think not getting what you want is, and what you're paying for is also not right.
Yeah.
That's a real, I know from working with other student information systems, that area with weighted grades is a real touchy thing in the systems. I don't know why it causes problems for them, but they should be able to figure it out. I mean, it's just a matter of setting up.
It's been a real
your-
hassle the last couple of years.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, it's a
created
matter of
lot
just
problems.
assigning in the system.
They said that they would continue to work on it, try to fix it, but right now they do not have a solution.
Probably until enough school districts complain hard enough about it.
Yeah.
Maybe not fix it as fast.
And I just can't understand it because we can't be the only school that has this issue.
Right.
No, I would think every school has weighted
What Carrie's
classes.
saying is not incorrect, because we deal with a lot of management systems as well, and they're nationwide. So until enough states say, look, this isn't working right, you don't get it looked at, it's triage down the line. So my speculation would be it's just not, nobody's complaining enough.
Could be. Page 12, we are making our first attempt at dealing with artificial intelligence. And we had a number of issues last year where, it was discovered that kids submitted work that was done through AI. And, the take from all of my teachers that have had to deal with this is that the use of artificial intelligence is not your work. You can command, artificial intelligence to do anything that you want it to do, and it will produce a product. But that product is not your original thought. It's the thought of the artificial intelligence. And so thus we are considering that plagiarism, and that's why we put in there that the use of those databases are strictly prohibited and considered plagiarism. And along with any case of plagiarism, it will result in a 0 for the work and all penalties along with that violation.
I'm sorry to keep interrupting you, Bill, but has the state put out any recommended AI guidance? I thought this came up at a meeting somewhere.
PSBA has a recommended policy.
Okay.
We presented that to the technology committee, and we weren't able to settle on anything, so we don't have a policy in place.
Okay.
The, part of that goes in with the PSBA policy is they want to really hone in on teaching the students how to use AI, not to disregard it altogether, because it's going to be forever, it's not going to go away.
Right.
So they really want to teach everybody how to use it, and how to use it correctly without plagiarizing, and use it for everybody's benefit rather than just ignoring it. And how that happens, I have no idea, but that's
We had talked about in January having training for our teachers so that the teachers could be involved in developing how they want to use it. I don't know, is there more training planned? Because I don't know that we ended up moving on towards that.
We did a training session at the Clarendon County-wide Act 80 Day,
Right.
and they were all exposed to that. We'll continue to work with the Act 48 committee and continue to educate them. I agree with Brady, it's not, and Patty, it's not good.
Our current view at the high school is that, it's kind of like the calculator was back when I was in school. But the idea behind it is, especially in the case of, English language, ELA, history even, history classes, is that you have to have the skills for writing and doing things ahead of time, and then you can use the tool. Same with the calculator. You need to be able to do the math, do the functions before you use the calculator just to make life easy and get through that piece. And just a part of learning. But to skip over all those skill-based areas like, writing a good essay, formative essay, if you skip all the skills and just go to the AI, you've learned absolutely nothing except how to get around.
So
that part.
is there a progression that allows the kids that have mastery to start to learn those higher level skills, because
We haven't used that yet. We haven't even had that discussion. I know some of my other colleagues outside of this district, I have had discussions with them because they actually use AI and have the students then analyze the AI work to see, you know, where maybe it has failures.
That's a good idea.
right, it's what they need to learn about it.
Yeah.
It hasn't been, it's just in the training stage, it's still got training wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, until it takes over. It's gonna happen. I don't need my car. Just listen.
Okay, so finally on page 10, that is the change in the approach on cell phones. And as I stated, I think it was like probably 3 or 4 months ago when I first talked about this, the issue isn't so much with students that pull their cell phones out during the day. Those numbers of kids being referred for cell phone violations are the same. The numbers are basically the same as what they have been for the last 10 years or so. It is, the issue comes into play regarding students that sneak them out, take pictures, take video, go into the bathrooms, you know, upload those things to social media, go into locker rooms, use their cell phones in there. They don't get caught because obviously those are places where it's a little more private and, you know, you can get away with those types of things. The impact of those actions doesn't even, it's not even impacting that particular day. It's much later because once it's loaded up and then students see it at night, students that legitimately don't look at their phones all day long, get home, get on social media and look at what somebody posted about them, and then it turns into a nightmare scenario. And the next day, all of those things fall into the school, and we end up having to investigate it, look into it, try. I'll be honest, I'm not, I told David this earlier today, I'm not a social app type person. I'm not good at that. I think I'm too old for that part of that. I don't even understand some of it. So it's hard for me to do an investigation into social media and the things that are on there when I don't even have access to it. So I rely on people, you know, kids, call kids down, get your phone out, show me what you're talking about, take, you know, screenshots of it. It has resulted in a lot of problems, and the problems are generally focused on grades 7, 8, and 9. And that's why I, you know, my teachers and myself suggest using this policy to begin with 7, 8, and 9, because that's where the crux of the problems are. Not that 10, 11, and 12 are immune to that type of thing, but I think that just naturally they're becoming more mature. They use, you know, cellular devices in a different way, and it's not as much of a problem at those levels. Also, you know, when you consider confiscating cell phones at the beginning of the day, not a problem to do that across all grades. But with the number of activities that grades 10, 11, and 12 have, and you have kids going to the Career Center, you know, 30% of grades 10, 11, and 12 going to the Career Center, a lot of students that have after-school activities, even leaving early for those activities. I think that management of being able to get those phones back to them, and it's only fair that they would have them, you know, that might be a difficult thing to manage. We really haven't had any in-depth discussion, and I mean, the teachers won't be coming back till the 18th. So, you know, whatever the board decides, I will support it 100%. If we wanted to hold off this year and tackle it another time, that's fine. You know, my proposal, what I really would like to see supported is at least grades 7, 8, and 9. Taking those phones, putting them in lock boxes, keeping it all day, and then when they return to period 10, at the end of period 10, they would get their phones back.
I honestly, and I've already given you my opinion, Bill, you're the one that's dealing with these problems. So you providing us that feedback saying, this is a group that's impacted, here's the other issues, if we make this across the board, that we could potentially have. I think 7, 8, and 9 is a good starting point, almost as like a pilot program, to see what kind of improvements we see, not only from a behavioral discipline standpoint, but educationally as well, when we start freeing them from those distractions during the educational day. Personally, I don't have any concern passing it as is.
And here's the thing too, regarding students and social media applications. Those things are created to become addicted to your brains. Students, and one of them actually admitted to me last year, he's like, yeah, I can't stop looking, at the videos and the things like that. And he was referred down to the office probably 5 times over the period of the year, and that's just the ones where he got caught with the phone. Teachers are doing their due diligence in trying, but number one job is to teach, and it's difficult to see those things occurring a lot of times. But when they do see it, they do address it. Those applications, they're created specifically to try to capture the attention of individuals, and that makes it difficult if a student has access to that device. If it's out of their reach and locked up, I think that in a lot of ways it's going to prevent a lot of problems. And as I mentioned in my email, that we definitely are not the first school to do it. There are a number of schools that are already doing this. And,
There's a lot of states that are doing it.
the preliminary, discussions are that it's helping. It's helping to free them from that addiction. And a lot of parents, I know, as a parent myself, again, I don't understand a lot of it, and so we're either unable or unwilling to, work with our child on that. And sadly, it falls into the school to have to do this sometimes.
So is there a reason why they even need to bring them to school?
Can't live without it.
So FOMO and.
I understand that, but do we say, don't even bring them? If you do bring it, we're gonna take it?
It's not gonna work.
Well,
It's
nothing's foolproof, I agree.
Yeah, I understand. I just know,
So some of the weekend news channels carry stuff, and they show kids sneaking in sandwiches and all. The police is who policed it, so they check them out and got good at busting them. But it does change the brainwaves on the kids. Like, it is a physical change in those kids that are not able to separate. And they've shown with that separation, once they learn to have that separation, it improves their quality of life. And the kids will self-identify that has been a change as well.
How much blowback do you think we're gonna get from parents?
Well, I think that,
We would definitely get some.
and I think, Kelly, to your point about, not allowing them to bring it, even though grades 7, 8, and 9 may not be going to the career center to work, co-op, things like that, they're still participating in after-school activities, and parents want to be able to maintain that communication with kids after school to know, hey, I'm done with practice early, we're staying late, or whatever, especially in an area where
There's
they have no other means of communication with their
But their
children.
coaches are dealing with it.
Well, but you also have kids going back and forth on buses to Union, where there may not be, there may be a bus driver, but you don't always have coaches on those buses in communication with the kids or the parents while they're traveling.
But to your point, Kelly, if the coach is dealing with it, it's a privilege to be there, participate in that sport. It's not a sport, it's not a right. You don't have to be there, it's a privilege. So, if it's that big of an issue, just dismiss them from the program.
From the coach. So, my personal feeling, if we're gonna implement it, we implement it across the board. I know New York State just announced that it's done. They're not having any in any of their schools. Do the Career Center allow the kids to have phones at the Career Center?
I think for certain times and certain projects they can.
They're not allowed to have them out. I mean, Hayden went to the Career Center. They were allowed to have their phones out for certain things, but the policy was teachers aren't to see them.
Right,
You know?
yeah, I mean, they're not supposed to like text all day in class, but I
Right.
mean, if they, want to show their instructor something or use a productivity that's improved, they can, from what I understand. So so they turn them in during first period and then go back to that first period class at the end of the day and get them back. If the 7th through 9th grader has to leave partway through the day, how do they retrieve their phone without disrupting that class then?
Well, those are some of the issues that we would have to overcome.
I have no problem with it, with trying it out 7 through 9. I mean, let's try it out 7 through 9 and revisit it 6 months from now and see how it's working. If it's not working, go back to the drawing board. That's just what my concerns are. I don't want to disrupt the whole class for a phone.
The discussions that we've had about that is that we could call the classroom and alert the teacher that the student's coming back to pick up the phone, so that it can be out and ready for them to pick up.
Is it a digital lock? Like, we're not gonna have 500 master locks, right? I'm assuming, is it just like a key, or
I think it's just a key.
is that gonna be an issue?
Certainly would hope not.
I mean,
Each teacher
I
would
know,
have their own
I know
lockbox.
young kids, and if that, basically, if they're trading their phone for a key, they're not gonna lose the key. But,
But the teacher controls these.
No, the teacher controls.
okay, I thought, okay, that makes better sense.
Not the kid.
Yeah, no, my God, terrible. I agree with what everyone said. I think it's gonna be a good thing. Roll it out for grade 7 and 9 and as a pilot program, and if it's implemented well, then move it on to other grades.
And I think no matter what policy, we go with, you're gonna have growing pains. In that first year, you're gonna encounter a lot of situations that you maybe didn't think of when the policy first rolled out. So I think you just deal with those as they come, and then maybe next year, we're gonna have a different conversation, based on the year of experience that you gain with the policy.
Correct.
I would think too, parent education goes a long way. They may not, I get it, but at least offer it. This is why we're considering this. There's lots of papers out there now that are take books on it that are explaining it. Let them start to learn, at least on the whys of
I think they need to start doing more controls at home too. I think if there was a little more parent control at home in a lot of households, we've.
From 2 to, all the child technology stuff there's tons of information out there.
Yep.
Find something that's fairly easy to read, something fairly succinct, and put it out, even if it's on the website, get it to these parents so they can start to make decisions and have an understanding of their children. I mean, it's tied up, I don't know if it'll ever come out, but, the law is set at 13 is the magic number of when kids can have internet access, right? That was a random number, somebody pulled out of a hat. It really ought to be 16, and they've now discovered that, so how do you start working toward responsible use and understanding of where a kid can understand it? It should be taught in the classroom too.
Have you looked into having pocket insurance in each classroom? This is what we do up at Keystone. Kids come into class, the phones go in the pockets. The phones are there, they can see them, cameras are turned around, of course. Kids are in the class, phones are up in the pocket chart. End of the period, kids take the phones, off they go to their next class, drop the phone into the next pocket chart in the classroom, and it works exceedingly well. That way, you're not interrupting in class if you're out early, and it can go across the board. All the classrooms can have that.
We did talk about that. A lot of the teachers were concerned that students just wouldn't do it. And that in the middle of class, then a phone comes out, or a phone goes off, or those types of things, and you end up having to deal with the cell phone issue anyhow.
Well, you still could potentially have that if they don't put it in the lockbox in the morning and they think, well, I'm gonna hang on to this through the day.
Correct.
So, I guess you're policing it no matter what, right?
Yeah.
We could start with that type of
That goes across
scenario.
the board, and then you don't have to worry about some kids doing it, some kids don't have to do it. All the phones are up there, they can see them. Now, of course, they could get a chance to check their messages in their hallways in between classes. But when the next class starts, the phone goes in the pocket chart, and the pocket chart is numbered to the desk, so you know how many phones you should have up there.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, we could do that.
That's, I like that.
That would save a lot of work at the end of the day, trying to get all these
Totally
kids
wasn't
back
my
to 10th
idea,
period.
though.
And it has worked for you at Keystone?
It's, yeah, there was a little pushback, but I think the kids adapted very quickly, and it's a non-issue by the end of the year.
And that's certainly something that you could implement pretty easily, 7 through 12, rather than just 7, 8, and 9, you know.
Yes, I do like that
That's
idea.
good.
Plus, if there's an instance when the teacher wants to use something that they want the kids to use the cell phones, they would be there. You know, it's approved by the teachers, approved by you, every activity they want to do.
That's a pretty good option.
Then they're not gonna have to go through a lockbox and find the phones and all that kind of stuff.
What about study hall?
That too.
Same thing.
Now, the kids are allowed at lunch at Keystone, so they have, it's kind of the middle ground thing. Okay, you can do your social media at lunch while you're eating, but, you know, as soon as class starts, study hall's included. Go to the truck.
I can change this policy to reflect that. And I like that idea.
I think it'd be a good way to start, yeah.
I think that's great.
Dollar trees, all.
Yeah.
Go buy them.
Except for
Part of
cheap.
some.
Just pocket charts on the wall. Very economical.
Okay.
Put Eric down for credit for that?
No, it's not my idea. It's not my idea. Right here.
He forgets these are recorded, so everybody knows that he suggested it.
All other handbooks have no changes, and I believe you did get the updated fundraising calendar as well. That's continually updated. Whenever I make changes, I will submit that to you.
Good, thank you. Okay, A, consideration to approve the 25-26 junior senior high school student handbook. Changes are attached, and it's upon the cell phone changes that we just talked about by Eric. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
Consideration to approve the 25-26 junior senior high school teachers handbook with the discipline chart, the same as the student handbook as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
Consideration to approve the 25-26 fundraising calendar as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. I have one question about if you're only doing 7 through 9 and you have classes with 9th, 10th kids together, do you guys have mixed classes, so only the 9th graders are gonna put their phones in the thing?
No, we said 7 through 12.
Oh, you're gonna do 7 through 12?
7 through
Okay,
12.
good. I didn't think we cleared that, so.
Athletic report, please.
Okay, under the athletic report, as you can see, there's no changes to the handbook this year. I just have a couple items, a few items here. Varsity football will be doing a meeting conversation at West Clarendon, the 4th through the 6th, when that starts. This is their second season of doing that, and according to the read, they love it, the kids love it. It's a great opportunity for them to do all things football, get their heat training done, work on their X's and O's, film. It's a great team bonding atmosphere for them to prep for the season. On the 4th, varsity golf also starts, and as was stated in the agenda earlier, our girls coach resigned recently, so we're going to need to move on that. Hopefully quickly someone will come forward to step up and take that position so they can get started on time. Band camp will also be starting on the 4th, so Logan's already asked me to get transportation set up for that, so we have that all arranged for Rich Ballard. So we're good to go there. Volleyball and all of our football sports start on the 11th of August. And volleyball just recently had a very successful program at the West Clarendon Summer Camp. And finished that up last week. So with the start of these sports, we're working with Leanne and possibly Tracy to make sure all our physical
Dave, do you have a contingency plan if we don't get a girls golf coach hired before the girls need to start
I
practicing?
just got the information like last week, I just happened to look at my email, there it was, I think it was the 15th, so we'll have to figure something out in the meantime, if nobody comes forward.
Does Leo coach the boys? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Leo does.
Oh, CJ gonna coach?
No, I'm pointing.
Oh. I just wondered if, like,
We
can,
can cover, like, we'll figure something out and get them started.
it's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, we're not to do pretty quickly here, but like I said, somebody's interested. I know Logan, the story is that he was hired as a baseball coach, helps with the varsity boys. He's sort of our connection with you, get the kids over here, and work with them a lot, so maybe we can work something out there, because we do kind of have two coaches. I mean, I don't know how that would work, but like maybe possibly Logan could work with girls a little bit, or Leah can split some time off. Because they can go out and practices, so we'll just have to kind of get creative for a while.
All right, thank you. Westview?
No, we have to present.
Oh, hey, yeah. Consideration to approve the 25-26 athletic handbooks, so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
Westview.
Good evening. So my handbook is the student handbook, and we added a course catalog to it. The first half is just a lot of rules, talks about questions with staff, contraband, computer guidelines. And then the second half from pages 19 on to 28 are all new. And just a quick summary of what those are, just the credit count. Students at Westview always want to know, am I in 10th grade yet? Am I in 11th grade yet? So that's something that we have, they've really spiked in interest in their education more, which is so nice to see. We have 16 graduates to date, and 2 more forthcoming. So they're definitely more interested, so we're trying to spread that knowledge to them so that they can come to class and be interested. And I will say that they're most behaved when they come to school, and they're very excited about earning the different certificates or honor roll and participating in positive things. So we're going to hopefully continue that trend. So the back half of my handbook is all new, talking about academic subjects. We have the courses outlined, each individual course, a course description for everything, including the cyber program that we use, which is called Edgenuity. It discusses our fast bridge testing, progress monitoring. Our entire vocational program is also in here. Our career readiness and Smart Futures program, which is something new that we just added to our career and vocational program. We added a new graduation plan, which you guys have all seen. We passed out that big long sheet. I'm sure you can't forget that. Student academic request forms. So students, we put them on the units, but students can actually complete this form now and send it, and it comes to me, and it says, I have a question about my OSHA certification. I have a question. I'd like to speak with a counselor. I'd like to speak with the principal. So in the event, maybe it's in the evening, and they have a question, they can always fill this form out. So we're trying to open the lines of communication with them. So any time of the day they have questions, they can always reach out, and then myself or the guidance counselors or a teacher can follow up with them. So that's a quick summary. As far as the teacher handbook, it's been primarily ROP. So that is something that has been work in progress, coming in not knowing ROP's rules, because they have a lot of rules. I mean, a lot of rules, right, David? And so that's something that we're in the process of updating to try to include our rules, but make sure we have all of their rules in there. So it's kind of like a double whammy, but that's something that's forthcoming.
All right.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Consideration to approve 25-26 Westview student handbook, so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
No federal programs report tonight?
No, Kristen provided that at the workshop, but we'll just approve these handbooks and move on.
Okay. Consideration to approve 25-26 Title I handbook, so moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries.
Consideration to approve the 25-26 school-wide Title I plan. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries.
District Report, David, please.
Thanks, Cliff. I just got a couple updates coming out of Harrisburg. First off, the state budget is 3 weeks late. We're aware of that. There is discussions going on in Harrisburg right now. The Pennsylvania State House passed House Bill 1330. It's a Democratic proposal. It did get a couple Republican votes. It announced it's in the Senate, and everybody went home. So there is ongoing discussions, but there's no movement right now. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Currently at the district, Aaron and I are managing all the requests. We're not buying and purchasing any kind of unnecessary supplements or supplies that may be needed unless there's an emergency. And I'm working with the building level administrators on that, and we're still processing it, but we are keeping an eye on the budget. House Bill 1330 sits with the Appropriations Committee as far as the Senate goes, and they're going to come back with a proposal that we're sitting and waiting for. There's also Senate Bill 934 and Senate Bill 927, and this addresses cyber school and specifically wellness checks. And if passed, it's going to require the cyber school to do weekly wellness checks and then also check the verification of residency twice a year to make sure that they haven't moved around or maybe potentially living outside of the state. In addition to that, the Senate and the executive committees referred acting Secretary Carrie Rowe to the Senate Education Committee, and she's going to drop the acting role and become our Secretary of Education, which is very good for Western Pennsylvania. She was a Beaver County superintendent at one time, and now she's supporting us from Harrisburg. In addition to that, there's two other items. There is still an ongoing discussion about capping cyber school tuition at $8,000. That may or may not happen. Ongoing discussion within the Senate to come up for a long-term proposal, one in which that will take the responsibilities from the local school districts to cover the cost, and it be part of the budget item of the governor, which is good. I'm sure they'll have to find the money to pay for it. It may come from us, but at least it will eliminate the unnecessary billing of school districts and create more of a steady rate for that. And then just finishing off, a little bit of good news, House Bill 1407 is tailored into instructional certifications and grade spans. So primary is going to be pre-K through 6th grade. So a lot of our elementary teachers are kindergarten through 4th grade right now, so it'll expand that certification. And then secondary will be 7th through 12th grade, and then specialized areas will be kindergarten through 12th grade. So that'll be a change that they're rolling out, and it's not passed yet, but it is supported by all the P groups in Harrisburg right now, and has a lot of movement. That'll help us with hiring and staffing. And
So we're going back to what we had
Yes.
before,
Yep.
when they changed it
That's
for
correct.
money, and,
That's exactly correct.
right?
And Cliff, that concludes my report.
All right, thank you. Consideration to approve the 25-26 district calendar. So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries.
Consideration to approve the 25-26 musical events for the AC Valley Elementary Band and Choir and the high school choir for 25-26 school year. So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
Consideration to approve the 25-26 cyber services handbooks as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
Consideration to approve.
He's gonna get the giggles now.
Oh my. Consideration to approve mobile dental services for the 25-26 school year with Big Smiles Dental. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
Consideration to approve health services of Clarion Incorporated, Dr. Leonard, as a school doctor for 25-26 school year. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
Consideration to approve the enrollment, class size data, and staff for 25-26 school year dated July 1, 25. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion?
24, 25 school year.
Yeah, that too.
Well, that's a recap from last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said 25, 26.
Oh,
Doesn't
okay,
matter.
yeah, you're correct.
Good catch.
Sorry.
The rest don't say 20 to 26. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
Consideration to approve the agreement with Vector Solutions in the amount of $1,250. So moved.
Second.
Can you refresh our memory what that was?
Yeah, that's a online learning platform. It's going
Okay.
to replace Simple K-12. And there's a lot of training, not only for the teachers, but also our athletic coaches linked to that. We did get a discount because we went with Utica Insurance, so I think it saved us $1,000 a year. A similar program that's used throughout most of the schools in IU6.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries.
Consideration to approve outside agency procedures. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that?
And this is just a process that our special ed department has put together, the counselors and school psych, because we do have a number of outside agencies coming in to try to streamline that process, protect the confidentiality of the students, and help roll those programs out smoothly for the beginning of the year.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
I don't think we have school school voice report or education report.
No reports out of this.
Concludes.
Okay, we'll move on to policy. Jeff, you can group those, please.
Can I lump all these together, A through G?
A through D, second reading.
A through D, second reading, okay. Consideration to approve the second reading of policy 317, 317.1, 320, and policy 718, so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on those? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
E, consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 626, federal fiscal compliance as attached, so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries.
Consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 626.1, travel reimbursement, federal programs as attached, so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries.
G, consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 827, conflict of interest as attached, so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. We'll move on to facilities. Brady, would you do that for us?
Sure, maintenance report. Good evening, everyone. Start off with the high school, we got the gym floor all finished up, everything's back together. The back hall, the weight room, everything's been cleaned, that's back open this week. So the weightlifting program, everything's back in. To finish up some of the money in my budget from last year, I was able to add some window blinds in the weight room to help with sunlight that comes in there and kind of turns into a greenhouse over time. So hopefully in the long run that'll help whenever everyone's in there exercising. Also got new window blinds in the nurse's office and backside of the band room, just to kind of finish that all up. The old style where narrow slat or plastic just always falling apart and everything. These are the pull down style just to kind of match what Mark's been doing over the last couple of years. Down at the elementary, we got that new freezer installed. Everything went great. It's been up and running. Also got the gym floor finished up down here in this gymnasium. Continuing on new events, just to get those cleaned out. Bill's been getting things adjusted just to help in the next couple months here whenever heating season starts up. District-wide, got water samples done. Those should be back, I'm going to say in 2 weeks. Once I get those results, I'll get those over to David. Cleaned out a couple more catch boxes that we found in the parking lot, just to help alleviate some of that water that comes down to the elementary. And then in the future, once we do the project out front, that'll help some of that water also. Next few weeks, I'll have fire alarm testing done. That'll cover the smoke detectors, pool stations, and that'll kind of that'll wrap everything up with that. Still looking at some sidewalk repairs, over the next month or so here before school starts. Just a couple, cracks and breaking in the sidewalk from the last couple winters. And also there's the retaining wall up here at the end of the football field. It's pushed, probably over the last couple winters, and that's gonna be somewhere to look at tomorrow. Kind of meet with the block company, just to try to match that. Some of the blocks are cracking and failing, so we can't just relay that wall easily. Sort of look into that some more. And I believe that's most of my report. I did have Sarah add a couple unused items, Brady did that, but I just wanted to use those to kind of feel out this a bit for when the time comes to advertise and pick up the indoor tractor. Just kind of understand that program a little bit more. I believe it's no cost to the district. The buyer just pays kind of like a premium, similar to an auction you can go to, and then they would just show up to the district with a cashier's check and kind of buy it. These are just 2 floor buffers. I believe the one actually came from Hamilton years ago. It's just been in storage. The other one, we put new batteries in it, kind of worked with it. It probably hasn't been running 5 years. The other one's probably 10, 15 years it hasn't been used. So I just want to start out with those, and then we can maybe progress into some desks or chairs or something in the future. Just moving forward.
What do you think the rough price of those units are gonna be? Like $50, $100? Like,
If we get somewhere in there, yeah, we'll be lucky.
okay, all right, thank you. Consideration to approve advertising a unused Nilfisk Advanced Model 20 UHSB floor buffer and a unused dirt floor buffer on municipal. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, Eric, would you do transportation?
Sure. A, consideration to approve the 25-26 transportation handbook as attached. So moved.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the request from Pam Myers, Myers Transportation, to add a 2022 Ford Transit VIN number 1FBAX9C G9 NK A02309. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
C, consideration to approve the updated van bus drivers list for the 25-26 school year. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
D, consideration to approve the request from Bauer Busing Incorporated to add a 2009 Bluebird 72-passenger school bus number 1432 to their fleet to replace Bus 5. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
E, consideration to approve the request from Bailey Bus and Company to add a 2021 International School Bus number 9419 to their fleet to replace Bus 3. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, I'll finish this up with miscellaneous. Do we have a Career Center report?
Yeah, our last meeting was the first meeting with Mike Hall as the superintendent of record. David was ended his tenure there, so we were happy to have David. Excited to welcome Mike on. Just renewing some CDs, just selling some items on Municipid, improving a couple different conferences for the teachers to go to, and picking a new insurance carrier. That's about it.
Okay. IU?
I was just trying to remember. I was there. Nothing of any great significance. I mean, the biggest thing going on at the IU right now is the summer parking lot, the project that has been in the works. It's a pretty significant overhaul to the parking lot and a lot of the drainage around the parking lot. So that's a big project. It initiated pretty much right at the beginning of June. And then just some personnel moves, some retirements, things like that, but nothing else of any significance.
Okay, I don't believe we have any correspondence.
Nope.
We've not had a tech committee update or a tech committee meeting about athletic committee. Hopefully we've met. Finance committee,
Nope,
football field committee,
we haven't met.
okay. Auditorium committee, we haven't met again.
Nope.
Okay, any old business?
I have a question. Last fall, when the whole cross-country situation came about, of not having enough students, we said about this summer, we would try and re-advertise for a coach to get that ball rolling, maybe ahead of schedule. I just thought of that tonight, I just thought, I didn't know if we could bring that back up.
I thought we said we didn't have enough
Next to
people to do it
beginning of
last
the year.
meeting.
Okay,
There weren't enough kids interested. So last meeting, I think we said there wasn't gonna be enough.
okay.
That- All right, new business. We need a motion to advertise for the assistant boys basketball coach, if somebody would like to
I'll
make
make
that.
a motion
Second.
that we
Baseball.
advertise.
I'm sorry, I said basketball. I meant
Assistant
baseball.
varsity baseball coach.
Yep.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. We are going to break for an executive session for personnel and for contract discussions.
Well, do
There-
we need to do anything with the youth football? Do we need to discuss that any further as far as their request, since if we wait until August, that will be too late, or?
I thought you wanted to find out from Union first, Brady, before we voted.
I mean, if it's all crap, it's cost everybody's gonna split, that's fine. I just don't wanna submit the payment to them and say, oh, we're not paying that, because they pay X amount right now.
Okay.
I think it's a courtesy, it wouldn't hurt, hey, we're looking to add this, but I'd like to get it approved, but I may contingent on unions
Approval?
verbal approval. I just don't want to slap them with a $750 bill and they pretty much say, well, what's this? You didn't tell us. This is courtesy.
I'll take care of that, Cliff.
Okay. So contingent upon their approval.
So we need a motion to approve the contract with Huddle for AC Valley, contingent upon the approval of Union paying half the cost, and the youth football team paying half
Yeah.
the cost.
And the remaining half being split between the
Yes.
district and union.
Union paying a quarter, AC
Yeah.
paying a quarter.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Okay. As I said, executive session, and we will not be having any business afterwards.